like you're just, drowning in tabs. Or maybe emails piling up. Or just that blank page staring back at you and you're wishing for, like, a magic wand.
Yeah, that feeling of information overload, needing a spark for creativity, or just needing to get things done faster. It's pretty common.
Totally. Well, if that sounds familiar, you're definitely in the right place today. We're about to do a deep dive into something I think is genuinely transformative. It's all about collaborating with AI to seriously boost your productivity, your creativity, all without leaving the tools you probably use every single day.
Exactly. It's about using AI like an assistant that's already built in, making how you work not just smoother, but actually smarter, more integrated.
Sort of shifting from doing all the grunt work to directing the AI to help.
Precisely that. You're guiding it.
Okay, so our guide for this journey, our source material, is the Gemini for Google Workspace, Prompting 101 Guide. We're using the October 2024 edition.
And it's a really solid foundation. It lays things out clearly.
Right, so our mission today is basically to pull out the absolute must-know skills from that guide.
Yeah, we want to equip you with how to write prompts that actually work well with the AI.
And show, with real examples, how Gemini for Google Workspace can be that personal AI assistant.
Right, helping you write, organize info, even create images, speed up workflows, make meetings better.
And crucially, keeping your data private and secure right inside your workspace.
Yeah,
that's key.
Absolutely. That privacy piece is fundamental.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Google Workspace, Docs, Gmail, Drive, lots of us live in those tools. How does Gemini actually fit in? What's different now?
Well, the big deal isn't just that there's generative AI in there, it's how it's integrated. It's woven directly into Gmail, Docs, Drive, Sheets, Meet, Slides.
So right where you're already working.
Exactly. Plus, there's the standalone Gemini Advanced, at gemini.google.com, which has even more power, but still with that enterprise-level security.
Okay, so the main advantage is it's just there.
Okay.
Less clicking around, less breaking your concentration.
That's a huge part of it. Less context switching. But maybe even bigger is its ability to tap into your stuff.
Ah, right. You mentioned that. Your Drive files, Docs, Gmail content. That sounds like it could be incredibly powerful.
It really is. It makes the AI understand your context, not just general knowledge. It can pull info from your files to give you answers or content that's actually relevant to you.
Which saves a ton of time explaining things or searching for that one specific file.
Exactly. And back to that privacy point you raised, it's critical. Google's very clear. Your data stays in your workspace.
Okay.
It's not used for ads. It's not used to train Gemini models or any other AI models, period. That's their bedrock principle.
That's definitely reassuring, especially these days. Okay, so knowing our data is safe, let's talk about talking to the AI, prompting. The guide calls it a conversation starter. How do we make those conversations, well, good ones?
Right, not just shouting into the void. The guide boils it down to 4 main things to think about: persona, task, context, and format, PTCF.
Okay, persona, task, context, format. Like the ingredients for a good prompt.
Pretty much. If you give Gemini those 4 things, you're giving it clear directions, not just a vague wish.
Can you walk us through an example? Like, how do those 4 things work together?
Sure. The guide is a great one. You are a program manager in industry. Draft an executive summary email to persona based on details about relevant program docs. Limit to bullet points.
Okay, let's break that down. You are a program manager. That's the persona.
Yep, sets the tone, the viewpoint. Then, draft an executive summary email. That's the clear task. It's the verb, the action you want.
Got it. Based on details about relevant program docs. That must be the context.
Exactly, telling it where to get the info or what info is relevant. And finally, limit to bullet points. That's the format, how you want it presented.
That makes it really clear how those pieces fit. And the guide really emphasizes one part of that as being, like, essential, doesn't it?
It does. The absolute must-have is the verb or command in your task. Draft, summarize, create, analyze. That's what tells Gemini what to do. Without that, it's just listening.
Right. You need to give it an instruction.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the blueprint. Persona, task, context, format, and always include that command verb. What are some quick tips for getting better results, maybe moving beyond just basic questions?
Yeah, the guide has 6 really practical tips. First, and it sounds obvious, but use natural language. Just talk to it like you would a person. Full sentences, complete thoughts, helps it get the nuance.
Okay, no need for weird code or anything, just be clear.
Second, be specific and iterate. Tell it exactly what you need. Summarize this, write that, change the tone, create an image, give it as much context as possible up front.
So more detail is generally better.
Usually, yes. Which leads to the third tip. Be concise, but avoid complexity. Be specific, but don't ramble or use a ton of jargon if you don't need to. Clear and direct is good.
Makes sense. Get to the point, but give it the necessary info. What else?
Fourth, and this is key, make it a conversation. If the first answer isn't quite right, don't give up. Refine your prompt. Ask again slightly differently. Iterate. Think of it like brainstorming with a super fast assistant.
I like that. It's not just one shot, it's a back and forth.
Right. Fifth tip, use your documents. This is huge. Remember the @ symbol, type @ and then the file name from your Google Drive, and Gemini can pull info right from that specific doc or sheet.
Oh, wow. So you can say, like, summarize the key points from my project brief?
Exactly. It personalizes the output massively. And a bonus tip for Gemini Advanced users, make Gemini your prompt editor.
Wait, how does that work?
You literally start your prompt with, make this a power prompt, then paste your original prompt text here. Gemini will analyze your prompt and suggest ways to make it better.
That's brilliant. It teaches you how to prompt better while you're using it. Okay, this brings us to something really interesting, this idea about the power of words or prompt length.
Yes, this was a real eye-opener for me too. The guide points out that prompting is a skill anyone can learn. You don't need to be some prompt engineer.
Right.
But the data shows the best, most effective prompts. They average around 21 words and critically include relevant context.
21 words.
Yeah.
But most people probably start with way fewer.
Way fewer. The guide says most people start with less than 9 words. So just by adding more specific detail and context, getting closer to that 21-word mark, you can instantly get much, much better results.
Wow. That's a simple but really powerful insight. Just be more descriptive. But we still need to check the output. Yeah. It's not magic.
Absolutely critical. Always, always review what Gemini gives you. Check it for clarity. Does it make sense? Is it accurate? Generative AI is amazing, but it's still new. You're the final editor. The output is yours. You own it.
Okay. Good reminder. Now, let's get into the fun stuff, seeing this in action. We've got some great real-world examples for different jobs. Let's see how Gemini actually helps people get stuff done.
Yeah, this is where it really clicks, seeing the practical side, and I'll try to point out why these prompts work and what kind of workload they actually take off your plate.
Perfect. Let's start with administrative support. Huge area. Imagine planning, say, a 3-day team offsite. That's a lot to juggle.
Right. Instead of a blank page, you can prompt Gemini Advanced. Draft a sample agenda for a 3-day team offsite focused on Q4 planning and team building. That's your starting point.
Okay, so it gives you a first draft. Then what?
Then you iterate. Suggest 3 different icebreaker activities suitable for a diverse team. Or organize this draft agenda into a table format with columns for time, activity, and lid.
And you could pull in your own docs, too.
Exactly. Maybe prompt. Using the key themes from at 2024 H2 Team Vision Doc, write a short paragraph for the opening remarks. Now, it's not just a generic agenda. It's tailored to your team's actual goals. It shifts the work from creation to refinement.
Okay, how about communications? Like a PR manager writing a press release after an acquisition? That's high stakes.
Definitely. Normally, you'd be digging through documents for quotes, background info. With Gemini in Docs, you could prompt, I'm a PR manager. Draft a press release announcing our acquisition of company name. Please incorporate the approved quotes from at VIP Quotes Acquisition Doc.
So it pulls the quotes right in.
Yep, and then you layer. Now, add a paragraph summarizing the acquired company's mission, drawing info from @acquired co-mission statement. It pulls context from multiple places seamlessly.
That saves so much copy-pasting and potential error. Frees up the manager to focus on the messaging itself.
Precisely. It handles the assembly so you can handle the strategy.
Let's talk executives. They're always short on time, often working on the go. Board meeting communication, for example.
Right. You could be in Gmail on your phone and prompt Gemini. Draft a quick email confirming I'll be at the board meeting. Also, ask if we can add 15 minutes to discuss urgent topic.
Okay, quick and functional.
But then maybe you need it more polished. Just follow up with, make the tone more formal, and boom, it adjusts.
That tone adjustment is huge for execs.
It really is. Ensures the message lands right, even when drafted quickly. And think about presentations. An exec could use a voice prompt. I'm the CEO. I need a detailed presentation outline for my team about our Q3 results. Include potential customer questions we should be ready for.
Wow, outlining complex stuff just by talking. That's efficiency.
Huge cognitive load lifted right there.
Okay, shifting gears. Marketing. Let's say you need a visual identity for a new concept. Maybe a combined coffee shop and video game cafe. That's tricky.
Yeah, where do you even start? You could ask Gemini Advanced. Generate logo concept ideas for a new cafe that blends coffee culture and video gaming. Consider the target audience, young adults, and offer options in these styles: modern playful, retro cool, and sleek minimalist.
So it helps brainstorm visually.
Exactly. It gives you diverse starting points. You might like the retro cool direction and ask for more variations on that theme. Then, okay, now suggest a tagline and 10 potential names that fit the retro cool vibe.
So it's not just text. It can genuinely kickstart creative and visual processes, like brainstorming a brand identity.
Absolutely. And we see image generation in other marketing examples too, like prompting. Create an image of a trade show booth for a sustainable sneaker brand, highlighting natural materials.
Yeah.
It makes ideas concrete, fast.
Very cool. What about sales? Researching a new prospect is crucial, but time-consuming.
Totally. You could prompt Gemini Advanced, summarize the current market strategy of potential customer company. Then you could feed it links to recent articles, maybe even a YouTube interview link of their CEO.
So it can consume different media types.
Yes, URLs to articles, YouTube videos. Then you could ask, based on these sources, what are the top 3 things this executive seems to care most about?
That's deep research, synthesized quickly.
And then combine that with internal docs. Using insights from the App Prospect Research Summary and our App Product Sales Kit full assets, draft key talking points for a sales call, focusing on how our solution addresses their stated priorities.
Okay, that's creating highly customized sales material, connecting your product directly to their specific needs. Much better than a generic pitch.
Night and day difference. It enables truly personalized engagement.
Lastly, let's touch on small business owners or startup leaders. They wear so many hats. Comparing vendor proposals, for instance.
Yeah, that can eat up hours. Imagine getting proposals from 2 cleaning companies for your spa. In Docs, you could just attach or reference them. Using at Company A proposal and at Company B proposal, create a table comparing their services, costs, and contract terms.
Instantly side-by-side comparison. That simplifies a potentially complex decision right down.
Massively. It extracts and organizes the key info, saving tons of time and helping make a better choice.
And for brainstorming.
Even better. Take a photo of your whiteboard notes after a strategy session, upload it, and ask Gemini. Transcribe the text from this whiteboard image. Then, organize these notes into action items with owners. And maybe even, based on these notes, what potential blind spots or missing pieces should we consider?
Turning messy brainstorming into actionable insights, that's incredibly useful for small teams.
It really helps structure thinking and planning.
Okay, so looking across all these examples, admin, comms, exec, marketing, sales, small biz, what's the big picture here? What's the common thread?
I think the main takeaway is that Gemini isn't just, a fancy spell checker or a writing assistant. It's way more versatile.
Right, it's organizing data, summarizing things, spotting trends, planning.
Creating images, pulling info from your specific documents. It integrates across all these different tasks and apps. It enhances your workflow by taking care of that initial, often tedious groundwork.
Allowing you to focus on the more strategic stuff, the decision-making, the creative polish.
Exactly. It handles the what and how, so you can focus on the why and what's next. It reduces that mental drag.
Okay, we've seen the basics, we've seen it in action. How do we really take our prompting skills to the next level? Go from good prompts to, great prompts?
Yeah, there are definitely techniques to get even more out of it. These are about giving Gemini clearer guardrails and richer context.
Makes sense. What's the first one?
Break it up. If you have a really big, complex request with multiple parts, try splitting it into a few smaller, focused prompts instead of one giant one.
Okay. So don't ask it to write a novel, plan a party, and analyze market trends all in one go.
Pretty much. Smaller prompts tend to give more specific, targeted results for each part. Second, give constraints. Be explicit.
Like word counts.
Exactly. Or character limits. Give me 5 options. Summarize this in 3 bullet points. Tell it the specific boundaries you want it to work within. It leads to much more precise output.
Got it. Be specific about the output format and size, not just the input.
Right. Third, and this is really powerful, assign a role. Start your prompt with "you are a specific role."
We saw that in the exec summary example. You are a program manager.
Yes. It really cues Gemini to adopt that persona. Think you are a skeptical financial analyst versus you are an optimistic marketing manager. You'll get very different perspectives and language. Try you are the head of creative at a top ad agency. It unlocks more creative or specialized responses.
That's clever. It primes the AI's mindset. What if you're not sure what context it needs?
Great question. That's the 4th technique. Ask for feedback. Turn it into more of a dialogue. Describe your project, what you want to achieve, and then ask Gemini, what other information or context do you need for me to give me the best possible response?
Oh, interesting. So you're asking the AI to help you prompt it better.
Exactly. It can help you identify gaps in your own request. Fifth, always consider tone. Don't just assume it knows. Explicitly ask for the tone you need. Formal, casual, witty, empathetic, technical, persuasive. This aligns the output with your audience and purpose.
So many options for tone. That's really useful. And the last tip.
It brings us back to something we mentioned earlier. Say it another way. Basically, embrace iteration. If the first shot isn't perfect, tweak it, rephrase, add context, remove jargon. Don't be afraid to refine your prompt a few times.
Right. It's a process, not a magic button. Keep sculpting that clay.
You got it. It's a dynamic conversation.
This all sounds incredibly useful. It really feels like it could change how a lot of us work. But there's still that important reminder, right, about checking the output.
Absolutely. Cannot stress this enough. Generative AI is amazing. It's getting better every day, but it's still a new technology. Responses aren't always perfect. They can sometimes be off or need fact-checking or just need refining for clarity. So before you use anything Gemini generates, especially for important stuff, always review it carefully.
Check for accuracy, relevance, make sure it sounds like you, if needed.
Exactly. You are still the expert, the decision maker. AI is here to augment you, to assist you, but the final judgment, the final output, that's on you.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. The core idea here is that getting good at prompting, using Gemini within Google Workspace, isn't just learning a new tech trick. It's a pathway to seriously unlocking more productivity, more creativity.
Yeah, it can genuinely change how you tackle your work no matter your role, because it's right there in the tools you already use, tapping into your own information securely.
It helps you draft, summarize, analyze, plan, brainstorm, taking on a lot of the initial effort.
It really shifts the effort curve, letting you operate at a higher level.
So here's a final thought for everyone listening. Given how Gemini can pull from your own knowledge base, your docs, your emails, your spreadsheets safely within Workspace, what's one manual process, one information bottleneck you deal with regularly that can be totally resolved?
Yeah.
What if you started just having a conversation with Gemini about it? How could shifting your mindset from just doing the task to directing the AI to help with the task fundamentally change how you spend your time and energy at work? What uniquely human strategic things could you focus on instead?